us. She is Seema Saxena. She is an English confidence coach. She helps individuals to raise their confidence and guide them in the right path and empower them with the skill of learning English language. So she is an expert and she has a wealth of experience in this field. So let welcome her with open heart, and she will be guiding us and sharing her insights how we can improve the skill of learning this language. So thank you so much, Seema, for joining this session. So over to you. So can you please share us that how you started with this path, and how was your experience and what inspired you to choose or to be an English confidence coach?
So, Swadhina, first of all, thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I was listening to you before joining. You said it very well. These days, we cannot deny the fact that English has become the global language. We have to accept it, and most of the things we have to, whatever we want to get into or conduct, those are happening in English language primarily. So accepting this fact, and after accepting, the first step is preparing ourselves for the challenges ahead. So yeah, this is what I have been helping with the individuals for the last 15 years. It has been my mission. I say mission because I got into it by chance. It was not by design. So I was happily doing my 9 to 5 corporate job, and after completing my MBA. But yes, I was being from a mixed medium. I was not purely from vernacular medium because my father was getting transferred during my schooling days. So I was getting an exposure to all types of setups. This is how it happens, right? So
Absolutely.
that exposure was creating or was preparing me for the future time. Maybe I didn't understand it that time. So during my corporate job, I could see the people struggling with their common, conversations also. That was very painful, really, to see them struggling with, putting across their thoughts and ideas, though they were quite well with their technical knowledge and expertise, but they were really struggling just because of not knowing the language. And that was really not a very good place to be in. I had to take a break for my personal reasons. During that break of 1 year, I could understand, like, this is what my calling is, maybe. At that time, I was not that sure. Now, after that 1 year, I could understand, like, the 9 to 5 is not where I would be getting satisfaction. And surely I have to do something for these, these strugglers at learning English. And I had the solution because I have been through this journey myself. Being from a vernacular medium, shifting from a Hindi speaking state to Mumbai, and adapting to the lifestyle here, the pure English conversation in my MBA days, I also went through that journey. So I could understand, I could empathize with their journey and all. So yeah, that was how, like, how I got into it. Pre-COVID, it was absolutely offline, a brick and mortar model I had created and developed it. It was doing very well. After that, COVID and online is a I think is a treasure all coaches have got. We are able to reach multifold number of learners now, and this is so satisfying. I think you will agree with me, Swadhina, that online platforms have really given us an array of like channels to reach to our learners. So yeah, this is how my journey has been, Swadhina, so far. Going forward, let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, the journey actually is very inspiring because it's been a journey of 15 years, and the story you said means the people you have been exposed to, and the mission you have set is actually very big and very actually empowering also. Because English is a language which we have to be aware of. We should have the knowledge because in daily to daily basis, wherever we go, we have to speak. In some most of the parts or most of the time we consider it as a second language, but
Mhm.
English we should first prioritize the language because it has its importance in its uniqueness only. And the journey of yours is also empowering. So thank you so much for sharing it, Seema. So I just want to ask you that in this coaching journey where you are guiding individuals to improve or empower the skill of learning English, so in that process, have you ever encountered that what are the common mistakes most of the individuals do, and how you can guide them, or can you share some tip if they do certain mistakes, what can they do in the right way so that it can shed light on those people? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, Adina, I must say that you have really researched the field, and you are asking the right question because
Thank you.
common mistakes, there are a few mistakes which I would not call them mistakes also. They are like the experiences they have while learning the language. So, what happens like they are shifting from a vernacular medium to a new medium of conversation, and during the transition phase, they try to translate the sentences word by word, or they try to frame the sentences, translating them word by word, and that doesn't work. Why it doesn't work is like every language has its own music, own way of constructing the sentences. So, and also the nuances of a language lie in the cultural background and understanding the tone of the language. Everything is very different when we look at, different languages. So when we try to learn the language, we should try to understand from the cultural aspect also. This entire like gamut of the language, the all the aspects of the language. At Let's Grow, we deal with all the aspects in our Grace M program, and this is how it should be, a language should be learned. Second mistake, which I come across quite often, is they don't want to listen to the language. Okay, first thing should be speaking. Whereas, unless you are in that environment, in that listening zone first, the understanding wouldn't develop. It cannot happen that you skip the listening part and try to learn the language to speak. So that is also one of the things which I see quite often. Then the third thing is like they don't want to like learn the vocabulary by exposing themselves to different speakers, types of speakers. They refrain from listening to various accents. So all these things are there, but there are ways to overcome them. But these are the common mistakes which I come across quite often, very regularly.
And actually, it's very practical also. And the best
Mm.
thing among the three which I liked is like the people
Mm.
actually are not listening. They are
Yes.
interested to speak, but they should also listen. The participating
Yes.
in that listening step is actually very vital. So,
Mhm.
how, can you just say us that how can listening improve the language of learning English? Is it interconnected, and how can it be possible? So, can you just shed the light,
Yeah.
shed your view?
Sure. Sure. So, Adina, we have to look at it from that perspective, the way we started learning our mother tongue. And at that time, we didn't go for grammar. Nobody taught us the grammar part of it, right? We were just listening to the people around us, the family members, the friends, and other people around in the family. Or if you are in your home state, then the other people also speaking the same language. You were just listening to it, and for 1.5 year you just listened to the language. You didn't even utter okay, words and all are okay, but one full sentence you were not able to frame, right? In the initial days you were just listening. Now one fine day you just start speaking the language without working on it, just by listening. So listening is so powerful. We can see the logical way of learning our mother tongue, and we will understand the entire logic behind it. Same logic applies to the second language learning also. I understand that at that point the passive listening was helping you, and there were not many filters in your mind developed at that age. But still, I mean, with age, it should be easier, right? And with many resources around us, it actually is easier. If we make it, we try to make it easier. We have to expose ourselves to the language as much as possible through listening, and that leads the right path.
Correct.
So, I mean, this is how it works. So,
And it
yeah.
absolutely, I agree with you also, because listening is something, if we are not understanding, but with time, we actually master the skill of listening, we actually master the art of learning English efficiently.
Correct.
Yeah, so I completely agree with you. So can you just tell me that how we can use it effectively through any programs of your, or is there any platform? So if you can shed some light, it can be useful to most of the people who want to learn
Yeah.
English.
Sure. So Let's Grow, which is the name of my setup, my academy. So here we have a community-based system, which is very, very constructive for the learners, very helpful support systems, all the language partners, the daily practice sessions. So collectively, it is the conducive environment we have created for the learners. There is non-judgmental approach of everybody from coach to the last leg of the system. So completely non-judgmental and helping to the max. To like, so everybody is so helpful for, so advanced level learners are helpful to the
Correct.
intermediate learners, and so it's a very conducive kind of environment we have created. Now what happens, like when we are listening to our like counterparts or our level only, so proficiency level matters a lot. Here we are intermixing the different proficiency level on some of the days, not all the days, because that also leads to a little bit of frustration and all. So we have kept it taken a balanced approach in that, and those intermixing sessions are conducted on daily basis. Then, when we talk about listening activity, listening to the podcast or audiobooks or whichever debates, discussions, there are n number of methods to listen to the language. You have to take care of the proficiency level at which you are, and also your interest area. If you take care of these two aspects, you will listen for a longer duration. If you don't take care of these two points, this may lead to a lot of disinterest very soon, and even sometimes we see that people give up the idea of learning the language altogether. So be very careful while selecting the right kind of material. In our society, we have a complete library of full of like audio books and other material which is age appropriate, which is proficiency level appropriate, and also interest appropriate. So that is done for you in our system. You just have to explore and you just have to access the resources. And first you have to enter the society and then you are
Correct.
free to use, all these resources.
But
Then,
it sounds actually very interesting. The program, the way you have designed is actually sounds very interesting.
thank you so
Yeah.
much, Sadhana. We have like tried to create the best possible learning system for the learners, and that is what the objective is. Because I really want to reach to the last person sitting in the remote area of India. I want to assure them that that you are not alone. It is very easy to take help. The help is just there with you, and these days the reach of cell phones has also increased. So all the more like they should be able to take help of this program. This is what the objective is. I feel that we are on the right path, and God will be there to help us and to them
Thank
also. And then when you are listening, one major aspect which people ignore is the main idea of what the other person is saying, or what is the main idea discussed in that discussion, or whatever you are listening to the content, the key points which are covered, then the key vocabulary. Are they using certain words which are getting repeated, the phrases which they use to express a certain sentence or idea? So all these things we have to pay attention to. The moment we start taking note of those, and we start getting used to listening to those words and phrases, the things fall into place. And we start frame using those words and vocabulary in our sentences also. But the main thing is to start listening effectively.
Yeah.
Then reinforcing the ideas, whatever we have learned, going back to the same content minimum 2 3 times, and then listening to it effectively, I mean, with interest. That is very, very important. A non-verbal cues when you are listening to the talks and discussions is also very important. The face expressions, the tone of the speaker, all those things collectively should be taken care of. So all these things we take regularly in our sessions, and we guide the students how to go about it. So all the systems are very well in place. Just the students have to avail these facilities.
Yeah, and actually you do have a wide range of options, because when actually if initially somebody wants to learn English, so there should be from basic to intermediate to advanced. So whatever you have just mentioned, everything is beautifully arranged in the way that one can easily level up and just enhance the power and skill of learning the English language. And I absolutely appreciate your efforts, the efforts you have put actually to design the program, the system.
Thank
So
you so
thank you so much, Seema, actually for sharing so much of insights and joining our program. It will be definitely be helpful for all the participants who are present here. So if anybody wants to ask, if anybody has any query also, they can just, we can give them time. Let us wait. If
much.
anybody wants to ask anything, if you want to learn English, you don't have that confidence, how can it be possible? So if you have any doubts, you can just let it in the comment box. Yeah, Seema can take it and answer it to you. But
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, but Seema, the point which you emphasized on listening actually is very powerful, because nowadays people are not listening and they're talking more, they're speaking more, but listening is the key. The more we
Correct.
listen, the more we are actually growing and just leveling up also. So
Yeah.
that's
Very
very
true.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Very true. Yeah. Listening leads to a lot of more understanding. And similar is the case with language learning also. Very well said. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, thank you, Seema. So thank you for joining, and yeah, we will definitely hang up next time. We'll discuss more
Sure.
about this background of English language, because it's very vast.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank
Okay.
you so much. Yeah, and thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much, Swadhina, for calling me on this. And I hope that, we will be able to reach more learners through, these kind of live programs. Thank you so much for calling.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.